An extremely violent Venezuelan gang has taken over New York City migrant shelters. Let's check out this video.
Today's first very shocking appearance by Bernard Castro Mat, a young migrant from Venezuela. He's actually facing a number of charges. So what today's court appearance is he was being arraigned again after the grand jury came up with an entire new list of charges. Obviously, the two most important charges are attempted murder of two New York City police officers. In today's court appearance, he just ratted on his own gang. That he just basically told the cops exactly who gave him the gun, pointed them out in pictures, then told the police how the gang is getting firearms into city shelters, smuggling them in food delivery bags, which are not checked or put through metal detectors. Just shocking statements that he made over the course of 2 or 3 days at New York Presbyterian Hospital to 3 police officers while being recorded on the record. Just shocking. So at the end of the court appearance, his Queen's Defender's attorney asked for protective custody, and the judge, seeing the target put on Mata's back, granted that protective custody immediately without question. I was able to ask the district attorney, Melinda Katz.
His card is marked for protective custody now because of those statements, isn't it?
We'd like to make sure that he comes to trial and is held accountable for attempted murder of 2 counts.
You could see her laughing and nodding, yup, he's dead. He's a dead man. It was shocking. The way that this young self-proclaimed gang member gave up the info on his fellow gang members about the tattoos, how to identify them, the practices in Venezuela, why they shoot at the cops as often as easily as they do. It was all shocking information. None of us expected any of that. His appearance was pretty shocking too. He was in a wheelchair and his right leg was bandaged from the knee down, and he had a hospital wristband on because apparently he's been being held in Bellevue Hospital due to his injuries.
Looked like he had a wound that was draining there as well. Maybe that right leg. What a crazy, crazy deal, right? So you've heard about this story. You get a couple of police officers shot, and the way that they're getting guns into the migrant shelter is they're just bringing them in Uber Eats bags. So people are, they're doing the illegal Uber Eats thing where they're hijacking, or not hijacking, but taking somebody else's account, running with somebody else's account and giving them a cut, whatever. You've got scooters just all over New York City. You've got just a crime wave happening. And this is happening in the migrant shelters. And that's where a lot of this is emanating from. And that's why this individual who is basically on murder charges for shooting cops comes right out and it's almost as if he is feeling like he is completely protected because he's an illegal and he's got protected status as an illegal. He's going to wake up for a rude awakening at some point here and have to face the consequences of, when you get on the big stage and they find out you've been shooting at cops, they're probably going to hand you over to ICE at some point and they're going to deport, whatever. I think they incarcerate him, but not before a big trial. So that's why the district attorney is like, we got to protect this guy because we need his testimony. An accused cop shooter who claimed a Venezuelan gang is smuggling guns into migrant facilities stayed at a shelter with an X-ray and magnetometer to scan for weapons, officials said. And even though they got X-ray and machine to basically, is there any metal in here? Nobody's doing anything, right? They're just not doing anything. It's okay. They're illegals. Just let them do their thing. They want to drive their food around and get paid for that. Security guards at the East Elmhurst shelter have been retrained. They've been retrained. Here's the deal, guys. Got to actually turn those machines on. And you actually have to put people's bags through those machines because otherwise, you know what's going to happen? Yeah, they're going to be they're going to bring guns in here, and it's not going to be good. Security guards at the East Elmhurst shelter have been retrained on the proper use of handheld wands and scanning belongings since former resident Bernardo Raul Castro Mat, 19, allegedly shot 2 New York Police Department officers, city officials told the Post. This is getting wild. I mean, You've got stabbings, you've got shootings, you've got all kinds of shenanigans taking place in New York City. Who would have thought that when you take in millions of people into the United States and then you move them to wherever they want to go, and some of them come from Venezuela, a lot of them are gang members, they're all tatted up. We saw in that video kind of examples of tats and what they mean. Trende Aragua, that's what the gang that we're talking about here. Who would have thought that, violent members from gangs coming out of Venezuela would, come into the United States illegally through the southern border, and we would just welcome them with open arms? Yeah, how many rape murder cases do we have going on right now where young 12, 13-year-olds, moms of 5, have been raped and then murdered by illegals? Oh, yeah, we can't talk about that. That's a no-go. That's a no-go. Meanwhile, they're just bringing guns in willy-nilly into the homeless shelters. I mean, the illegal immigrant shelters. But Mata's stunning but still unverified claim that the bloodthirsty Venezuelan-based Trende Aragua gang is using food delivery bags to sneak guns to members has prompted lawmakers of all stripes to call for heightened security at city-run migrant shelters. What you're seeing is the after effect of allowing millions of people to come illegally into the United States who are not vetted. Not saying all of them are bad people, but a certain percentage certainly are. And they're coming from environments where if you don't have something, you take it. And if you can't easily just take it, you just take it by force. You take it by force. It's yours. Hey, this is what we're doing. It's what we do at home, Venezuela. It's what we're doing in the United States. So all of these virtue signaling big blue cities run by these bleeding heart liberals, the illegals are going to be the greatest thing ever, until they realized how much money it was costing them. And now you've got the crime narratives coming in. It doesn't look good, right? It doesn't look good. Councilwoman Joanne Arroyo, she's a Republican from Queens. She said the powers that be are being duped, relying on the honor system. Oh, you got some food in there? Okay, just keep going. Guy's got like 4 Glocks. These illegals must think we are the stupidest, most gullible country in the world. They give us money. They give us debit cards. They give us housing. They give us ability to work after not too long. They don't even check out who we are. I mean, they give us clothes. I mean, just resources out the backside, right? Violent criminals are taking advantage of the overly lenient system and have absolutely no respect for our police, much less the citizen security guards hired to oversee their facilities. They're running the system. It's as simple as that. They've gotten in there and they do not care. This kid does not care. He's just going to say whatever. 19, in a gang, doesn't really care. It's like, whatever, screw it. I mean, you got some nuttiness going on. You got some real shenanigans. The city's migrant shelters have been plagued with security problems, from vicious stabbings and brawls to attacks on cops to security guards raking in up to $117 an hour because you've got so few police available to take care of this. I mean, it's just it's crazy. How about the Jocelyn Nungari's accused killers captured with help of roommate? They tied her up, took off her pants, and went to Pound Town for 2 hours and then murdered her, dumped her body. Yeah, that's what they're doing. And then, they're bringing guns into shelters so that they can run around and strong arm rob people. That is the daily story. Only people who live in an alternate universe cannot see the correlation between mass migrant tent cities and shelters and rising crime in neighborhoods. These do-gooders, Democratic do-gooders, they're far too long of a leash. It's okay. Yeah, we won't deport you. We won't even work with ICE. Yeah, we love you. We think you're great. Oh, they murdered another one. Oh, they raped another one. Good Lord, when is the madness ever going to stop? Right? Councilman Robert Houghton, Democrat from Queens, said Mata, a self-professed Trende Aragua member, the violent Venezuelan gang, who told cops the gang commonly shoots cops in Venezuela, as you do. I mean, that's just what they do. So why did you think when they come here to the United States, they wouldn't do the same damn thing? And rape is just, that's normal. Yeah, I haven't had any for a long time, so I'm just going to go out, find myself a 12-year-old U.S. citizen. Who cares? Doesn't matter. Do whatever you want. It's okay. Fine. Wild stuff, right? But why wouldn't they do this? There's no pushback. There's no repercussions for their actions. They're an illegal. All right, we're not going to turn them over to ICE. We're a sanctuary city. Now, in some of those cases, they do turn them over, but the fact that is happening, all of these criminal actions, they didn't need to happen because you didn't need to let the illegals in, period, in the beginning. You just didn't need to. You didn't need to. This is why everyone coming into our country should be heavily vetted and should not be in our shelter systems, which I believe will now have to start using metal detectors. They should have been using metal detectors from the get-go, right? Because you just don't know. I mean, you have metal detectors to get into town hall meetings in Dalton, right? You do. So you got a bunch of illegals, some of them coming from extremely violent countries where they themselves are escaping whatever kind of violence, maybe because they're in a gang that creates violence. So why wouldn't you have that at a shelter system? We believe in them. Councilwoman Vlok Paladolino said more security in shelters is a given, but more power to U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement is imperative. Well, yeah, but you got that whole sanctuary city thing where you have virtue signal to the world. We're going to take everybody in that we can. No, we're not going to turn them over because we know they're all good people. Well, except for this guy who, he just basically told on all of his gang member buddies. Mayor Eric Adams also backed this idea earlier in the year. Mayor Eric Adams has been trying to waffle out of the whole sanctuary city deal because he knows it is a loser, and it is particularly a loser from a political standpoint, right? Oh, yeah, I'm letting all these folks in, and we're providing all these resources for them, and then they're killing our people and, sexually assaulting them as well. Stealing stuff, doing stuff illegally. You have people in the city council yelling about crime, but when we want to give our police force more power, they start to scream in the opposite direction. That is 100% true. And that is the virtue signaling versus reality. You can't have both. You either got to be tough on crime or not. And you're basically choosing not. But other more progressive council members argued the problem isn't that far from the Big Apple. Diana Ayala, the Democrat from Manhattan Bronx, told the Post that migrant shelters have low-level security, which is the problem, rather than border policy. They're not securing the homeless encampments from all the illegals coming across that are wildly out of control criminals. Oh, we need more security at the homeless encampments. That means they're already in the country, you dumbass. I mean, these people are just so brain dead. This could easily be happening at a city-run shelter, right? Where the New Yorker could be smuggling drugs or a gun in it. Yeah, it could be, but we're not really seeing a lot of that, are we? No, we're seeing it from the wildly violent Trende Aragua in New York City coming from Venezuela. That's the story. But no. We need to divert the attention to something else, which is why we have certain policies within our shelter structures to prevent things like this from happening. How about you just don't let the people in? How about we don't let them in through the southern border? I don't know. What about that? What about that one? Yeah. Problem with the migrant facilities is they don't have that. Talking about the security. Well, the whole thing is just absolutely ridiculous, isn't it? She said lawmakers have been calling for metal detectors in those facilities for some time to no avail, noting that some people are climbing into these shelters. Really? I mean, is this not shocking? Any of this stuff? I mean, what did you figure would happen? What did you think would happen? Seems there's been a great deal of concern that these things are happening, but my question is, what is the city putting in place to deal with it? City's overrun. That's why you've got migrants running you've got the mental patients running the asylum, right? Here's the city statement. All of our shelter sites have 24/7 security. We've been clear that anyone who violates the code of conduct or threatens the safety of the other shelter residents and staff will be immediately discharged, a city hall spokesperson said. Yeah, what about the gang members bringing guns in their food bags that you're not checking? I go back to my original statement. We got 24/7, right? I mean, clearly security is not working. Clearly, these migrant shelters have been taken over. They are literally being run by gangs. So, well done, big blue cities. Wonder how you're going to wrap your hands around and your thoughts around what you're going to do to contain that. I don't think you are. I think you've just got a different element in your city now. And as more of your residents get murdered and raped, maybe you'll put some more resources into that. And maybe you'll finally figure out, you know what? Maybe letting millions and millions of people into the country through the southern border or through whatever border they choose to come through, because there's really no border enforcement going on right now. Maybe that wasn't the most splendid of ideas. Maybe letting them just do shenanigans left and right, and then being, caught on our heels, always backing up. Oh, what do we do now? Oh, we need more security. Oh, that's what we need at these shelters. We just need some more systems in place to protect. What are we protecting? Who are we protecting? These are violent gangs coming into the United States, committing crimes, and then we're shocked. Yeah, that's literally what's going on. How did this happen? What happened here? Yeah. Figure it out, people. Maybe that whole sanctuary city thing, maybe that's not a genius idea after all. Yeah. All right. That's it for me on this one. Thanks so much for being here. I'll catch up with you in the next one. Bye for now.